Greetings and welcome to KSOL Black Talk Radio, the new black media. Today's video is about the Cop Watch group, known as the Plainview Project, PVP. In this video, we're going to be discussing the 72 Philadelphia police officers who are now on administrative duty over racist and violent social media posts, according to the commissioner. Philadelphia Police Commissioner Richard Ross announced Wednesday that 72 officers are on administrative duty and that some of them might be terminated for racist and violent social media posts. Hundreds of Philadelphia police officers have been accused of these type of social media posts. Ross spoke after meeting with organizers of the Rally for Justice protest on Wednesday afternoon. Quote, "We've talked about from the outset how disturbing, how disappointing and upsetting these posts are and how they will undeniably impact police community relations, and we're not naive to that fact, nor are we dismissive of it," Ross said. With the officers being placed on administrative duty, they no longer will interact with the public and have turned in their department sidearm. The protest organizers want all of the nearly 330 officers accused of racist and violent posts on social media assigned to desk duty, pending an investigation. Quote, "We believe that they are committed to working with the community, and we are committed to keeping the pressure on so that they continue to work with the community around not only what happened with these Facebook posts, but what is happening with the police contract and the police advisory commission and other structural things that would keep this from happening again," organizer Solomon Jones said. Well, Solomon, you said a mouthful because that was one full run-on sentence, just on and on and on and on babbling. But nonetheless, folks, you get the idea of where he's coming from, I'm sure. The department's internal affairs unit is working with an outside law firm to determine if these posts are protected under the First Amendment. Now, before I continue, let me just state that if the police are allowed the First Amendment to write violent and threatening posts, then you can best believe that black Americans, American descendants of slaves, have every right in the world to speak our piece on the injustices and the evil that permeates throughout this country. We have every God-given right. And only evil and the devil would want to stop that. But I digress. Internal Affairs has identified and prioritized the posts clearly advocating violence or death threats or death against any protected class such as ethnicity, national origin, sex, religion, and race. These officers have been removed from the street that fall under these categories, Ross said. So they clearly have identified troubled and rogue police officers that probably don't deserve a badge. That's what it sounds like. Ross added that if the speech the officers used in the post were determined to be protected, no further action would be taken. Quote, "An example would be an opinion on a matter of public concern that may be unpopular, but that does not include threats of violence or pejorative language against any protected class. If the speech is not protected by the First Amendment, the case will proceed with appropriate discipline," Ross said. Commissioner Richard Ross, Jr. Plainview Project, a watchdog group, discovered the controversial posts of police officers who work in Philadelphia and in other cities around the country. Fraternal Order of Police President John McNesby previously said in a statement, quote, "The Fraternal Order of Police will continue to represent members in this overly broad social media investigation. We've been informed that those officers under investigation will be interviewed within days of being notified and will be returned to duty shortly thereafter. The FOP and our members utilize social media on a regular basis to bring people together and support one another. It is sad that the investigators with the social justice group chose to ignore all the good work done regularly by our officers. During this difficult climate in which police officers are constantly under attack, the FOP will continue to support you," unquote. Well, first of all, family, the FOP is FOS, full of shit. You know, what's interesting is how they say that their members utilize social media on a regular basis to bring people together and to do good, but yet they didn't seem to provide any examples when they could have. They seem to miss giving any examples of that. Furthermore, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't equate or remove the fact that they're still leaving racist, threatening messages on social media. And as a police officer, that's very troubling. That's very, very problematic. And they know this. They know this, and they are in such denial that it's atrocious. It is atrocious. I mean, if I was a world court, I would have America under full investigation, especially their police departments across America. And I heard this in another post earlier today from another Facebooker, and basically the point was that all of the police departments across America need to be dealt with from the ground up. They need to be replaced fully, because after all, we all know that they've been infiltrated by the KKK. That means that we have some filthy, raggedy, disgusting, rat-infested, roach-infested police departments, and that's a problem. But I digress. They are also in denial when they always talk about how, quote-unquote, the police are under attack. Now, the police wouldn't be under attack if they weren't out here killing innocent people who are unarmed, and then they get away with it. You know, like the police officer out there in Florida who just got away with shooting an unarmed black man who was laying down on the ground with his arms up, trying to be Captain Save another person. And I bet you he won't do that again, sitting out there running his blackness out into the streets trying to save somebody else. Black people, for you to be doing stupid stuff like that these days, you have got to be the dumbest thing walking around on the planet. And people are laughing at you, and you make the rest of us look bad, by the way. But I digress. So hey, in the end, we'll see where Commissioner Richard Ross, where his report turns out to be regarding all his so-called police officers. And I'm glad that there is a black man who is wearing his badge rightfully so, you know, in the respectable manner with dignity and pride and doing the right thing, wanting to do the right thing, that is. We'll see where that goes. And as far as the Plainview Project is concerned, I gotta say, bravo to you, hands down to you, that you went out and got this information, exposed this information, and holding police officers accountable if they're gonna wear a badge. It's important that if we're gonna make America great, that we make sure that our police departments are not filthy and disgusting and rat infested. So with that, this is KSOL Black Talk Radio, hoping you like and share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Country are taking heat tonight for public posts that they made on Facebook. Here's the problem. A lot of people think the posts were violent, racist, and sexist. Police in Philadelphia are among those under investigation, and Don Daler's there.
The people at this rally outside the Philadelphia police headquarters weren't surprised by what they read in the racist social media rants.
We live here in this city.
But Solomon Jones, one of the protest organizers, says the brazen public display took it to a different level.
It's a turning point because they felt the license to engage in hate in a public way. And what that says to me is that there is a culture that allows that to happen.
The Facebook posts in question contained discriminatory opinions. If our country was all Caucasian, the homicide rate would drop 70%. Perhaps we should be very suspicious of all Muslims in this country, said another. Or encourage violence. It's a good day for a chokehold. They were collected by the Plainview Project, a group of lawyers and activists who over 2 years painstakingly reviewed the Facebook pages of 3,500 current and former police officers in 8 departments: Dallas and Denison, Texas; Lake County, Florida; St. Louis; Twin Falls, Idaho; Phoenix; York, Pennsylvania; and Philadelphia, where over 300 officers were flagged for allegedly expressing racist, violent, or misogynistic views.
I want the 328 officers who are on active duty to be taken off the street right now, because it says to me that your mindset is one that you don't feel that my life is valuable.
All 8 police departments have issued statements saying they found those posts objectionable. 4 of them have put some of their officers on temporary desk duty pending investigations. Now, different departments have different policies about this kind of behavior, but David, only St. Louis has referred the matter to a prosecutor.
Interesting. Don Daler in Philadelphia. Thank you, Don.
So family, right away we could see that the problem clearly is that there's no consistency on accountability on how cops around our country are being held accountable. There's no consistency whatsoever, and that's how these departments are getting away with all these shenanigans, being violent and just being wrong. This is so foul on too many levels. But anyways, I'm bringing it to you once again here at KSOL Black Talk Radio, the new black media. We'll see you. Peace out.